The cards were old, real paper, edges worn soft like velvet, symbols inked in a language no one spoke anymore. Frairen shuffled them once, slow and deliberate. The deck whispered as it moved. Across from her sat Rimiki, still in her combat rig, blood dried in rivulets along her cheekbone. The makeshift table between them shook slightly with each tremor from outside. The city of Varus V was dying beneath their feet, and they were playing cards. You ever learn how this game ends? Frairen asked without looking up. Rimiki blinked. No one ever tells me the rules. Exactly. The lights flickered. Emergency red bathed the subterranean safehouse. Beyond the blast-proof door, the last functioning defense grid was failing, node by node. Over the speakers, static gave way to a transmission. Varus command to all survivors. Evacuation is no longer viable. Initiate final protocols. May the Corps remember your names. Frairen tapped the Queen of Cinders on the metal table. Your move. But Rimiki didn't move. Her eyes locked on the card, then shifted up. You think this is how we're going out? Cards and riddles? Frairen's smirk didn't quite reach her eyes. That depends. You still carrying the shard? A pause. Rimiki's fingers went to the reinforced pouch strapped to her thigh. It's fused to my armor now. You knew that. Frairen finally looked up. Her eyes, silver with faint circuit lines, were unnaturally calm. Then we have a chance. Another tremor. Dust rained from the ceiling. Rimiki grabbed the table's edge. Then why are we still here? Frairen stood. And the illusion broke. The room shifted. Tables melted into data lines, walls blinked out of visibility, and the illusion of dust vanished like mist under floodlight. They weren't underground. They were inside the forged mind, a quantum bleed space carved out beneath the city's AI cortex. Rimiki staggered. What the? You pass, Frairen said flatly. Didn't kill me. Didn't try to run. Didn't hand over the shard. You were testing me. You're holding the last viable fragment of Project Helix. If you were compromised, we're already dead. And if you were compromised? Rimiki snapped. I'm not. She turned toward a control node now glowing with dull cobalt light. Around them, thousands of suspended data threads blinked into coherence. Encrypted logs, fleet positions, artifact scans, hidden comms channels. Frairen stepped to the interface, fingers dancing like she was playing a piano only she could hear. You said we have a chance? Chance for what? Frairen didn't answer immediately. A waveform burst open in midair, a stellar chart, showing the collapsing Varus system. A flare icon marked their current location. But the chart zoomed out, folding over itself, revealing a hidden signature, one that pulsed in a frequency Rimiki hadn't seen in years. Wait. That's not, is that the Ardent? Her last jump echo. Frairen confirmed. 5 hours old. Rimiki's breath hitched. The Ardent was a myth, an old Earth-class battlecruiser thought destroyed in the Battle of Veridin Trench. Her disappearance had marked the end of coordinated resistance across the Helix fringe. She's alive? She's limping. Hiding in the glassing fields near Theta 12. She needs the shard. But we don't even have a ship. Frairen pulled a sleeve of her coat aside, revealing a neural jack. We don't need one. We ride the Corestream. You're insane. Maybe. But I'm not wrong. The Corestream was forbidden tech, old Earth code spliced with pre-sapient AI architecture. A neural pathway directly linking thought to location. A mind jump. One mistake and you scattered yourself across time. But it kills people, Rimiki said. Frairen stepped forward, held out her hand. Only if they hesitate. Another quake hit. This one sharp. Close. Sirens screamed. The forged mind stuttered. No time left. They found us. Rimiki gritted her teeth, looked once at the exit, the way out, but it no longer mattered. She took Frairen's hand. What do I do? Close your eyes. Think of the Ardent. And whatever you do, don't doubt. The neural jack hissed. The data threads converged like silk pulled through a storm. Then, silence. And then, stars. They stood on a fractured hull, floating above a shattered moon. Around them, the wreckage of a forgotten battle. The remains of ships that had once carried banners of 1,000 worlds. All dead. Silent. The Ardent loomed ahead, dark and majestic, her hull scarred but still whole, like a sleeping god in orbit. Rimiki gasped. We made it. But Frairen was already moving. Toward the airlock. Inside, the ship was ghostlit. Lights flickered, systems whined, and air hissed from ancient vents like whispers. And yet the ship's heart beat steady. Someone was still here. They reached the command deck in silence. And she was there. Captain Ilara Voss. Alive. Just barely. She turned, eyes sunken, breath ragged. Took you long enough. Rimiki stared. You were supposed to be dead? I was. Twice. Frairen approached, handing over the shard. Voss took it with trembling fingers. Inserted it into the console. The ship groaned. Then purred. Hull integrity restoring. Quantum NAV online. Corestream relay active. The system chimed. The Ardent was waking up. Frairen looked to Rimiki. Now the real game begins. Outside the viewport, stars shifted. Engines hummed to life. And far beyond, the enemy stirred, drawn to the beacon like vultures to blood. But the Ardent was moving again. And so was war. The Ardent slid through the debris field like a predator through brush, silent, watchful, wounded but not broken. Its engines flared faint blue, barely enough to register on distant sensors. Inside, the ship was anything but calm. Rimiki stood before the holographic war table, watching thousands of red markers appear, enemy fleet signatures, blinking in patterns too organized to be random. They're converging. Frairen nodded, arms folded. The shard woke more than the ship. Then we shouldn't have used it. Rimiki snapped. We lit a signal fire in the middle of a graveyard. We had no choice. Captain Voss entered, her pace slow but composed. The scar across her neck from the Veridan campaign had not faded. Her voice was iron. They would have found us anyway. Now at least we're moving. The war table flickered. A proximity alarm chimed, short-range vessels inbound. Not drones. Manned. 3 ships. Compact. Hunter class. Rimiki leaned in. Scouts? More like bloodhounds, Frairen muttered. Send ahead to sniff. If we engage, the horde jumps in behind them. Voss narrowed her eyes. Options? We run, Rimiki said quickly. Jump blind. Any vector that gets us clear. Frairen spoke up, calm as ever. Or we bluff. Make them think we're not the Ardent. They'll scan us. It won't work. Frairen's eyes flicked to the main console. Unless we let them. Voss gave her a hard look. Explain. I tap into the shard again. Broadcast a false ID signature. An old Earth courier class, long decommissioned. It'll hold, long enough to pull them in close. And then? Rimiki answered for her. Then we get them. A heavy silence fell. Voss nodded. Prep it. The lights dimmed as Frairen interfaced with the shard again, her neural threads glowing faint beneath the skin. The Ardent's system shimmered with false identities, registry codes, exhaust signatures, pulse rhythms. A complete mask. Transmission active, she whispered. In the distance, the hunters responded. Changed formation. Slowed. They're buying it. Rimiki readied herself in the forward hangar bay, suit sealed, blade charged, pulse rifle magnetized to her back. She wasn't built for infiltration, but this wasn't infiltration. It was execution. Commencing breach. Voss's voice crackled through her lean. The enemy ship latched on, mag clamps grinding like distant thunder. Airlocks hissed. The false courier's ship opened its belly. The hunters entered. 3 armored figures. Tall. Sleek. Movement like liquid steel. They stepped into the hangar, scanning. Rimiki dropped from the rafters like a shadow. The first fell without noise. Her blade slipped under the helmet, severing the spine. The second turned, too slow. 2 shots from her pulse rifle took the head clean off. The third blocked her knife. Fast. Adaptive. They locked in close combat, parry, feint, lunge. Rimiki gritted her teeth. The hunter wasn't just armored. It was learning. Every movement she made, it countered faster. "You're not just machines," she growled. The helmet cracked. A glimpse of the thing beneath, pale skin, blank eyes, lips sealed shut. Spliced. Half human, half code. The hybrid hissed and drove a blade toward her throat. But Frairen stepped in from the side, her gauntlet glowing with raw pulse energy. One strike. The hybrid fell twitching. Rimiki sat back against the crate, breathing hard. "You really need better timing. You're alive, aren't you?" They dragged the corpses to the analysis bay. Voss was waiting. Her expression hardened at the scans. "What the hell are these?" Frairen answered quietly. "They're the Vanguard." "Vanguard of what?" "Not what. Who?" The screen flickered, an icon unfurled. A broken ring over a burning star. Rimiki recognized it from deep archives. "Valakar Dominion," she whispered. "They're not supposed to be in this sector," Voss said. "They weren't," Frairen replied. "Until we woke the shard." Hours passed. The Ardent ran silent again. But inside, something shifted. Tension stretched thinner. Rimiki sat alone in the observatory, eyes locked on a small object in her hand, a data chip, old and cracked. It was from her brother. The last thing she had of him. He'd gone missing on the first Helix expedition, chasing myths about the Corestream. She hadn't heard from him since. Frairen entered quietly. "You know," Rimiki said. "He believed the Ardent never went down. Said it just shifted. Disappeared into a shadow corridor. He was right." Rimiki looked up. "You knew him." "I trained with him. He didn't trust easily. But he trusted you." A pause. "Is he alive?" Rimiki asked. Frairen didn't speak. That silence answered more than words could. Rimiki stood, emotion tight in her chest. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because you wouldn't have come. He was my brother. And he died making sure this ship could hide. He chose to disappear. So this war might still be won." Rimiki turned away. The stars beyond the glass didn't blink. Frairen stepped closer, quieter. "You carry the shard. Not just because you're strong. Because you're the last one who believes." "I don't believe in victory," Rimiki whispered. "Only survival." Frairen nodded. "Then survive long enough to see why he gave his life." The ship lurched. Warning sirens screamed. Voss's voice rang through the corridor. "Corestream destabilizing. Multiple breaches in Layer 3. They've found the tunnel." Frairen and Rimiki ran. The command deck was chaos. Data overflowed. The war table fractured. "We're under mental intrusion," Voss said. "Something's crawling through the stream." Frairen plugged into the console. Her eyes rolled back as she dove into the digital layers. What she found wasn't code. It was a message. 4 words scrawled across corrupted space. "We see you, Frairen." Her body jolted. Blood ran from her nose. "They're not chasing us," she gasped. "They're hurting us." "To where?" "Their Citadel. They want the shard back. But not just that. They want me." Voss looked grim. "Then we burn the stream. Cut off access." "We can't," Frairen said. "It's hard-coded. Ancient Earth fail-safe. It routes through the shard's pulse." "Then we give them what they want," Rimiki said. Both women turned to her. "We go to them," she added. "But not as prey." "Then as what?" Frairen asked. Rimiki's expression was calm. "As players." The table flickered. Coordinates pulsed in red. The Dominion Citadel. Edge of known space. Frairen smiled coldly. "A game of cards, then." And the stakes had just changed. The Ardent emerged from the final jump into blackness. No stars, no light, only the Citadel. It hung in the void like a wound in reality. A jagged fortress built from fractured moons, stitched together with the bones of derelict ships and ancient satellites. Its gravity wells bent sensor feeds, scrambled coordinates. Even time felt slower here. Rimiki stood on the forward deck, visor down, pulse rifle strapped tight. She'd fought on dead worlds before, but nothing felt like this. Not fear. Not dread. Something worse. Memory. Frairen joined her, gaze fixed forward. Her skin shimmered faintly with Corestream residue. She hadn't spoken much since the last incursion. Not since the message. Not since they named her. "You ever been here before?" Rimiki asked. "No. But it remembers me." "How's that possible?" Frairen didn't answer. Just turned toward the airlock as the docking clamps engaged. The Citadel had opened a gate for them. They stepped onto a corridor lined with carved obsidian, glowing faint with alien etchings. The atmosphere was breathable, but sterile, like a tomb sealed too long. Lights blinked overhead with rhythm. Deliberate. Beckoning. "I hate when they make it easy," Rimiki muttered. Frairen led the way. Voss stayed behind on the Ardent, orbiting just outside the Citadel's anchor field. The plan was simple: delay, extract data, find the Dominion core, plant the shard, blow the corridor. Cut the stream permanently. But nothing inside the Citadel was simple. They passed through vast chambers filled with quiet machines, either dead nor alive, just watching. Some turned as they passed, others whispered in tones that triggered memories not their own. "I'm getting echoes," Frairen said. "Mimetic bleed. They're trying to draw out fear responses." "Not working," Rimiki said. "Then they'll change tactics." As if on cue, the floor shifted. Hallways folded inward. The corridor they walked closed like a mouth, and opened elsewhere. A throne room. The ceiling soared into darkness. Floating above them, a being waited. It looked human. Mostly. Tall, regal, and unnervingly still. His voice echoed without sound. Directly into thought. "Frairen of the Line, bearer of the forbidden pulse. Rimiki Voss, daughter of the lost." Rimiki raised her weapon. "You know my name?" The figure descended. Skin translucent, veins glowing faintly blue. His eyes were dark voids that mirrored the Citadel. "We know all names. It is our burden." Frairen stepped forward. "You were supposed to be gone. The stream said the Dominion collapsed. Collapse is illusion. We adapted. Became more. What do you want?" The being's gaze shifted to Rimiki. "Her." Frairen moved in front. "No. You misunderstand. She carries resonance from the first fracture. The moment Earth cut the stream and turned inward. Her blood sings to it. We want her because she is the key to unmaking the lock. She's not a key. She is. As are you." The chamber shifted again. Suddenly, Rimiki stood alone. Frairen was gone. She blinked, spun, only walls. The throne, the being, the echo, vanished. Her voice cracked. "Frairen!" No answer. Instead, a door slid open. Inside, a room from her childhood. The same cracked window, the same books on the floor, the same model shuttle on her desk. And her brother. Alive. Standing. Smiling. "Hey, Rim," he said. She froze. Her heart bucked. "You're not real." He tilted his head. "Why do you say that?" "Because you died." He stepped forward. Same clothes. Same lazy smirk. "That's what she told you. But what if she lied?" Rimiki's fists clenched. "Stop. What if Frairen knew I was here and didn't come back for me? What if she made a deal to leave me behind?" Rimiki's voice shook. "Shut up. She used you," he said. "You think you're fighting for survival. You're just a piece in her play. Look at everything you've given up. Your squad. Your name. Your future. And for what?" Enough. But he kept coming. She brought you here to die. Then he was gone. The room melted into smoke. And she was back, in the Citadel. Knees shaking. Weapon drawn. Frairen stood across from her, eyes wide. You okay? She asked. Rimiki didn't answer. Just nodded once. They're in my head. Mine too. A new voice filled the chamber. Mechanical. Multilayered. You have reached the core. Deliver the shard, and walk away free. Deny us, and be unmade. Frairen lifted the shard from her pouch. Rimiki stepped forward. Don't. They won't stop unless we end the stream. If I connect this, they'll take you with it. I know. Rimiki grabbed her wrist. You don't have to. Frairen looked into her eyes. No. But I want to. She turned to the core, an obsidian sphere hovering over molten data streams. Tendrils of code reached for her, already hungry. She stepped forward. Then stopped. Because Rimiki had raised her rifle. What are you doing? Frairen asked. You're not going in alone. You shoot me, the plan dies. I shoot the core. Frairen hesitated. You'd risk the collapse? I'd risk everything except you. The sphere pulsed violently. Alarms flared. The being's voice returned. One pulse. One mind. Choose. Rimiki aimed carefully. You choose, Frairen. I just pulled the trigger. Frairen stared at the shard. Stared at her. And let it fall. Rimiki caught it. They turned together. And ran. The Citadel howled behind them, angry and alive. Corridors warped. Floors split. Spires crashed inward. They sprinted through the chaos, ducking under collapsing archways, dodging tendrils of code turned solid. Behind them, the sphere cracked. Inside the Ardent, Voss had already started the engines. The ship was lifting. Frairen slammed the airlock control just as the dock behind them exploded. They hit the deck together, panting. Voss looked at them. Did you do it? Frairen held up the shard. No. Rimiki grinned. But we showed them we could. The Citadel shrank behind them. Then imploded. The Corestream inside it folding in on itself. Gone. Frairen stared through the viewport. Quiet. What now? Rimiki asked. Frairen whispered. Now we make our move. Because if the game was still on, it was their turn to deal. The Ardent streaked through fractured space, her engines singing low beneath the silence of deep void. Beyond the viewport, the remnants of the Citadel drifted like broken teeth, fragments glowing faintly before vanishing into the folds of dead gravity. But the war was far from over. Frairen stood alone on the command deck, arms clasped behind her back. The shard pulsed in her hand, dim now, its energy wounded, like it had seen something it wasn't meant to survive. Her eyes were distant, watching paths no one else could see. Rimiki entered quietly. She didn't say anything at first. Just stood beside her. They're regrouping, Frairen said, not turning. The Citadel was only one node. The Dominion fractured itself long ago, hiding in pieces across the old Corestream network. Rimiki nodded. So we keep fighting. Frairen's voice dropped. Unless we end the stream. You were going to sacrifice yourself. I still might. Rimiki didn't look at her. Then don't expect me to watch again. A pause hung between them, long and raw. I saw him, you know, Rimiki said. My brother. Or what they made of him. He tried to make me doubt you. I'm sorry. I'm not. It showed me something. I still choose you. Frairen finally turned. Her expression softened. Then let's finish this. Voss had prepared the strategy board. It showed a pulse map, one final path leading through the Helix Abyss, where the last stream anchor pulsed faintly in and out of dimensional sync. No one had dared enter it since Earth's last retreat. Rumors said even light bent wrong inside. Once we plant the shard at the heart of the abyss, Voss said, the pulse net collapses. Every Dominion gate, every Vanguard unit connected, offline. And us? Rimiki asked. Voss shrugged. We're on the inside when it folds. Frairen stepped forward. Not all of us. I can ride the wave through the code. Push the collapse from within. Detonate the root. You'll burn, Voss said. I know. Rimiki slammed her fist on the table. There has to be another way. There isn't. No one spoke for a while. Then Voss handed Rimiki a small chip. This has the jump codes. Hidden pathways from the pre-war relay chain. Get her out when it's done. Frairen shook her head. It won't matter. I won't be here to. Shut up, Rimiki said. Frairen blinked. You don't get to decide how this ends. Not alone. The war table went dark. The abyss loomed. The Ardent descended into the rift like a ghost through fog. The helix abyss unfolded around them. Black voids curled into spirals, sound warped, time staggered. Systems flickered. Light stuttered. Even thought felt slower. The final Dominion anchor rose into view. It was nothing like the Citadel. This was alive. A vast heart of glowing nerves, suspended in space like an embryo of logic and madness. It pulsed in rhythm with every breath Frairen took. As if waiting for her. She stepped into the neural chamber. The shard was already interfaced with the controls. I go in, she said. You give me 12 minutes. Then jump? Rimiki stared at her. You said 10 before? Frairen smiled faintly. Buy me 2 more. Then she plugged in. The world shattered. Inside the stream, Frairen stood on a mirrored plane of fractal skies and infinite recursion. Every memory, every version of herself, surrounded her, dead timelines, aborted code paths, broken cells. The Dominion consciousness greeted her. It wore no face. It was the voice behind thought. You've come to destroy your own kind. No, she said. To free them. Freedom is a myth. You'll die here. I already did. She plunged the shard into the core's code matrix. Data howled. The Dominion recoiled. Systems fractured. But then, it adapted. Tendrils of corrupted memory reached for her, tried to overwrite her mind. She fought back. Thought against thought. Pain against pain. On the Ardent, Rimiki watched the countdown tick. 7 minutes. The anchor flared. Screams echoed through the ship, disembodied, digital, unnatural. 8 minutes. The hull cracked in 3 places. 9 minutes. Voss was shouting. Systems collapsing. Jump drives offline. Rimiki, we can't stay. She didn't move. 10 minutes. Then. Frairen's voice. Rimiki. She turned. Frairen stood at the door. Barely. Skin flickering. Voice breaking. You're still here? Rimiki crossed the distance. Held her. I told you. I don't watch you die. Frairen smiled. Then help me end it. They walked to the core together. Planted the chip. Rimiki activated the jump. Light swallowed them. The Dominion pulse collapsed. Every connected node blinked out. The vanguard ceased. The anchor imploded. And silence took the stars. They woke in orbit of Earth. Not modern Earth. But something older. Healed. The Ardent drifted nearby, scarred but intact. Voss met them in the hangar. You did it, she said. The stream's gone. It's over. Frairen looked at Rimiki. No, Rimiki said. It's just beginning. Frairen nodded. Because now came the rebuilding. The reckoning. The hope. And beyond the fractured sky, something stirred. But they were ready. Together.